Wayward Pines.
Yes.
If I had to explain what the show is about to someone who's never heard of it, what would I say?
Yeah. Wayward Pines it's a thriller. It's about a Secret Service agent named Ethan Burke, played by Matt Dillon, who goes on assignment to a small town called Wayward Pines, Idaho, to look for two other Secret Service agents who have gone missing there. And within 24 hours of being there, he gets into a massive car accident. He wakes up with Melissa Leo's nurse standing above him. He finds out, none of the phones work. He can't get out of town. He can't get in touch with anyone in the outside world. No one in the outside world can get in touch with him. And he finds the first Secret Service agent he was looking for dead, chained up to her bed in a house. And he finds the second Secret Service agent he was looking for married, working in a toy store, and 12 years older than she was the last time he saw her, which was 3 weeks ago. And that's Carla Gugino. That's Wayward Pines.
Because their character has this history that brings him there.
Yes.
Once he gets there and realizes he can't get out of there, does that cause them to work together, or does it cause a lot of tension?
Well, he saw her 3 weeks ago in Seattle, but she's claiming she's been here for 12 years, and she does look 12 years older. And they have a fraught relationship because they were partners, and they were also sleeping together, even though he's married. And so it's very fraught, and he thinks that they can start working together. The first thing he says is, "What's going on in this town? How do I get out of here?" And she will not help him, and you don't know why.
So, how quickly will you start to unravel the plot?
You learn more each episode, and you also, more things become, more questions are posed. So for the first 5 episodes, which are based on the first book of the 3 books of Wayward Pines, more questions are posed as things are answered, and at the end of the 5th episode, halfway through the season, you find out the truth.
So the series is built as an event series?
Yes.
Does that mean that in this first season we're going to get like a complete story?
Yes, there's a beginning, middle, and end in the first season, and it's based on the first, on all 3 books of the series. So it absolutely knows where it's going. We've already finished shooting, so it's a beginning, middle, and end complete story. There's no question left unanswered when you're done.
But if you were to do a second season,
I have an idea for a second season. Yes, absolutely. I'm very close. I've become very close with the author of the books, and so we sort of put our heads together a lot to accomplish that.
Did you already leave some of that into the first season to set up for a possible second season?
Yes, absolutely. But it was already naturally there. So where the second season would go is based on what this. It wasn't like, oh, this is what the second season could be, so let's change something in the first season. It's all the foundation is there.
So I'm curious, your idea of this series versus what it ended up being.
Yes.
How was that? How did that end up? Were there any surprises?
Of course, yeah. There's always, because you can be in your room alone writing and envision it one way, and then you get into production, and then you have actors, and then you have other people. And TV is a collaborative process, and so of course things are going to change. I would say things changed more in the second half than in the first half. But it stays faithful to the book in many, many ways, and it veers from the book in many, many ways. And along the way, you see, this is what Melissa Leo is good at, or this is what Toby Jones is good at, and you want to change things because you get inspired. For example, Hope Davis comes into the series in episode 4, and her role originally, I hadn't designed it to be any more than 2 episodes, and then she was so great, and we loved the dynamic that she brought to the show that she ended up being in the whole series. So yeah, things will change.
Speaking of the cast, you have an amazing cast assembled for this. Were you surprised?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, for sure, because I've been...
It's like, how did you do that?
Yeah. I mean, and at the time I don't think I realized, but now looking back, I've been writing TV for 15 years, and it's never been like this because I've been doing traditional network shows, 22 episodes and all that. With this, I think it was a combination of a couple of things. One, it was only 10 episodes, so you can get these actors who might not normally commit to a 7-year contract. also, and this was a big thing, all of them wanted to get on the phone with me before they said, agreed to do the show to ask me where the show was going and where their character was going and what the story was and what the truth was, and I was able to answer them in a way that I wouldn't be able to in a traditional show. I was able to say exactly what happened and exactly what the show was and exactly what they'd be doing, which I think for a lot of these actors gives them confidence, because it's scary to sign up for something for 7 years that you don't have any idea when you don't know what the show is. So I think that helped a lot, and of course Night directing the pilot, I think brought a lot of the talent in as well.
Do you have much of a collaborative relationship with him? Because everybody's talked about how you really sort of saw the whole series and had this vision for how the whole thing would.
Yeah, well, there's the book, of course, and when I first read the book, I read it in like a day and a half and completely flipped out, especially when I got to the ending, that it all made sense. And I decided to sit down and write the script on spec. I didn't pitch it because I thought it's confusing. It'll be a lot of questions, and it's such a tonal show that I wanted people to just see it on the page exactly what it was. So I sat down, and also I was so excited. I just loved the book so much that I wanted to sit down and write it. I didn't care if I got paid a dime, and if nobody ever bought it. I just wanted to write it. So I wrote it in about 3.5, 4 weeks, and so yeah, so I had a vision for it, but and where the show went, was based a lot on the books, and I changed a lot of stuff, but in terms of Night, he got it immediately. I mean, that's why I wanted to write the script, is so that I could send it to a director, send it to a network, and they would know what they were getting into. So if you liked it, great. If you didn't like it, fine. But he read it literally overnight when it was sent to him, and then the next day said that he wanted to do it. He completely understood what the show was.
And did you find that the network was also really supportive of this whole vision of it?
Absolutely.
And they didn't want you to make any major changes?
Yeah, they were absolutely supportive. It's been great. It's been the best creative process I've had so far, because we were able to really decide what those 10 episodes were going to be before we started shooting. And they've been supportive. Now, of course, things changed along the way. Sometimes you get a little frustrated with that, like if there's network people or whatever, but it actually was completely supportive, and I'm happy with how it turned out.
Cool. So if you've read the books, how spoiled would you be for the series? There's some big changes.
100% spoiled.